Oh, welcome back to the channel. So let's try solving this election results problem. It is a medium category problem and it was asked in Deloitte and Google coding interview. And today we will solve this in PANDAS. So let's have a review, like preview at the input data. So voting result is the name of the table. So we have only one table. Let's have the preview. Okay, so we have these two columns, voter and a candidate. So basically here we have been given like which voter has voted to which candidate. And here if we see Kathy has not voted to anyone, but Charles have voted for three candidates, Ryan, Christian and Kathy. Likewise, let's have a look at the expected output. So if we see, we have only one column, and though I think the in this question basically we have been asked to find the like the winner of this election, and if we see that Christian has won this election, and in the expected output basically we need just one column, so it should be easy to solve. Let's have a look at the problem statement. The election is conducted in a city and everyone can vote for one or more candidates. Okay, here we saw that, right? Like Charles has voted for three people, or choose not to vote at all. Okay, so here we have that case also. Like Kathy has not voted to anyone. Each person has one vote. So if they vote for multiple candidates, their votes get equally split across these candidates. For example, if a person vote for two candidates, these candidates receive an equivalent of 0.5 vote each. Okay, got it. So basically, let me explain these points because this is the crux of this problem. So let's say if we have a candidate X and the vote value is 1, right? The maximum vote value for each candidate, like each voter. So 1, and he has voted for three people, A, B, and C, right? So the vote value would be 0.3, 0.33, and 0.33. Why? Because here we in the problem statement only it is written that their votes get equally split across these candidates, right? So X has voted for three people, but each candidate will receive 0.33 vote, right? Similarly, let's say if we have a candidate Z and he has voted for A, okay, only one person, then the vote value which A will receive is 1. Got it? So it is easy, right? Let's read out the rest of the problem. Find out who got the most vote and won the election. Okay, we need to find out like who won the election basically. So if we see this input and output, that Christian has won this election. Okay, we will see like how Christian has performed compared to other candidates. Output the name of the candidate or multiple names in case of tie. To avoid the issue with the floating point error, you can round the number of votes received by candidate to three decimal places. Okay. So for uh, avoiding this issue, basically the we can use the round function, right? So let's start solving. So basically, if we see first step, what we can do, we can like group the data based on the voter and find out like each voter has voted for how many candidates, right? So let's do that. And after that, what we can do, we can, if once we have the count for each voter, we can just have 1 divided by that count, right? We will get the vote value, how we did here in the example, right? So let's do that. So we can have df is equal to voter result, voter result dot group by, we want to group by based on voter column, right? And then we want to find the count, so count based on candidate, right? So we can use the count function, right? And then what we can do next, we can just use the reset index. to like format the data properly. Mm, okay, okay. Here we have to print. We have to put like okay. So we got this. Like the name is little confusing. So instead of this candidate, we can rename this as vote count, right? Okay, so here we see Alan has given the vote to one person, Andrew has given vote to two-person, Anthony has given vote to the five persons, right? So now we have the vote count. What should be the next step? What we can do, we can just have 1 divided by this vote count, right? So we will get the vote value for each candidate. So to avoid the divide by zero, like zero problem, like that exception which we get, so we can just filter this data uh, and remove the vote count value where it is zero, right? So we can have this greater than zero. Okay, now we have the all the record where the vote count value is non-zero. Okay, so what's next? What we can do next? Um, we can generate that new column. So we can name that column as vote value, right? Vote value is equal to df of, we need to find the vote value based on vote count column, right? Vote count dot apply lambda, and we can have 1 divided by x, and to avoid the floating point issue we can write like multiply this by 1.0, right? Let's run this. Okay, we got this one, and let's print this df. Okay, now if we see, like Anthony has voted for 5 people, that's why the vote value is 0.2, right? And similarly, Alan has voted only for one people, like one candidate, then that's why the vote value is 1. Okay. So now we have the vote value, right? So what we can do, we can join this data with this voting result data and get the vote value for each candidate, right? And we can join these two tables based on the voter column, right? So let's do that. So we can name this as combined df. Combined df is equal to, we can use merge function, right? Merge, merge, and we need to merge these two data, comma df, and we need to um, combine this on voter, right? Let's do this. Okay, now we have the data, and since we are only interested, um, okay, let's have this only. Okay, now what we can do next, um, we can just filter these two columns, right? We only want these two columns in the output. So let's have combined df is equal to combined df of candidate. For simplifying the understanding, we are just filtering the required column only. And let's okay. Now we have candidate and the vote value. Like for each candidate, how much vote value is there. So this is simple now, right? We just need to group by the data based on the candidate and sum up this value, vote value, right? So we can do that. We can name this as final df, right? Or we can have this as result df, right? Result df is equal to combined df dot group by based on candidate column, and then we need to do what? Sum of this, right? sum, and then we can use the reset index. Okay, now we have like the votes, basically the sum of vote for each candidate. Here if we see the column name is vote value, what we can do, we can rename this as total received vote, right? Okay, now we have it. Okay, by looking at the data, we can see that Christian has got the most like vote. It is 5.283, but others have got less. Like Ryan is the second highest guy, 5.15. Okay, so we just need the one column with one row only, like the highest voted guy. So what we can do, we can sort this data in the descending order based on the total received vote and then select the first row, right? So let's do that quickly. So result df is equal to result df dot, we can use the sort values function, right? Result df, and then we want to sort this data based on this column, so we can have it here, and then ascending is equal to false, right? Okay, now we have this, and let's filter the data. Basically we just need only one record with one column, so for that we can use the iLock, right? Let's select only one row first. So first row, right, we can do this 0 1, basically the first row, start and end, and we want only one column only, so let's do that also. Okay, we got this candidate. So if we see expected output is same as our output, and let's try submitting this. Okay, so this got submitted. If you see here, yeah, we have solved this question. So we learned a lot of things basically, right? So yeah, if you yeah, for the same problem, like this is the Python version, right? The PySpark and SQL version video solution is also there. You can find the link in the description section. And if you like this content, then please do like, subscribe, and share the channel. Thank you.